Welcome to Inside the Introvert. This podcast episode will not be formatted like my normal. This will be merely a farewell episode. I did another farewell episode on the previous one on Silver Sea Review. So if you want to listen to that, you can. I'm going to try to reiterate everything I said in that one on this one. So it might just be duplicate, but I'm sure I say things in very different ways. So I did a river crossing in the previous episode. I did a very poor job of it. I thought I could just step, which I pretty much did, but I had to step completely in the water. I was hoping it wouldn't be quite as deep as it was, but my whole foot got wet. But it's really nice today. My shoes already pretty much dried out, and I think it didn't get like completely soaked. It was just enough to get on my shoe and inside get my sock wet. But kind of sad, but it was all in an effort to avoid interaction with people because I'm an introvert. Did you know that? I hope you did. It's been fun doing this, but I feel like I'm kind of just talking to myself at this point. I feel like I've been talking to myself the entire time. Hang on, I'm gonna take a picture of this cool looking tree. But I feel like I can allocate my time and do a lot of other things. I know I mentioned it in my Silver Sea Review. I don't know if I mentioned it in my introverted one, but not feeling good recently. I don't know what's going on, and working on figuring it out. I'll be fine, but that's a slight reason. Like this has become a little bit harder to do because I just feel like not doing anything right now. Having really bad digestion issues and stuff, and I don't know what it is, and it's been happening for the last 2 months. So trying to figure it out. I finally got me a primary care physician, and so working on it. I'll get it figured out. But even when I was feeling really good, because sometimes I'll have days where there's like zero symptoms, even then I just don't feel motivated to do this podcast anymore, and there's no one listening. I'm not getting any feedback. I don't have an audience, so it's kind of like, why? Like, I feel like I've achieved everything I set out to do. The only thing I didn't achieve was to get an audience, but I don't feel like I can do anything else, or I don't want to do anything else, because this is everything I am. Like, I've incorporated me into this podcast in every way I know possible. So without any sort of feedback, I'm not confident that I would be able to do a lot of research and find new ways, because I feel like anything that I'll be doing just won't feel like me. I did the introverted stuff. I've done the movies. I've been out hiking in nature and done it from my kayak. And I've done jokes and quotes. All that stuff is all me. Like, there's more to me, but I guess not anything else that would be considered interesting. So I'm just kind of at a point where I'm like, well, I was wanting to do it for the next 3 months. And if you listen to the episode before the Silver Sea Review finale, I'll actually talk about where I had it all laid out to which movies I was going to review for what episodes. And I was wanting to end on like a really good movie. But it was like, I don't know, I just don't feel like doing it anymore. And mainly it's because, like I said, number one, I'm talking to myself. I feel like, although this is fun, there's a lot better ways for me to have fun. And number two, watching the movies is kind of a pain because the way I watch them is online. So a lot of times I'm watching cam versions and the sound quality is not good and the video quality is not good. So I'd much rather wait until there's a better copy out there. But I feel like to get any sort of views or listens, I need to do it as close to the movie release date as I can. I'm going up a very large hill. It's not very steep, but you might hear me a little bit out of breath. And so I'm having to watch terrible quality movies, and my neighbors complained once about the sound. So since that happening, I've tried to keep the volume low, and because the sound quality is bad, I have to have it high so I can understand what the people are saying. And then all of a sudden, like, explosions and stuff happen, so I have to quickly turn it down. And the way my routine works is I watch YouTube creators when I get home, and then I have to, as I'm eating and working on stuff, so by the time I'm ready to watch a movie, it's towards the end of the evening, which is when people want it night or quiet. So it's kind of annoying to watch the movies. Like, I'll get around to watching them, but trying to watch them on a schedule is not always fun. So that's one of the main reasons I think that I'm getting tired of doing it. And I've done the audio only. It has made it a lot easier, but it's still a time commitment, and rather get out here and hike just on my own, or just focus on taking pictures. Because even though I'm taking pictures, a lot of times I have to kind of tell myself to take pictures because I forget, because I get so focused on what I'm saying. Whoops. So, whereas when I am just hiking, that's all I'm doing is like looking around. I'm not looking at my phone or anything like that. Not trying to keep a mental track. I'll get it right here in a second. But anyways, so I just said all that. Let's see what I wrote down. See if I missed anything. Like I said, I don't feel like I'm quitting. I'm just reallocating my time. So if for some reason in the future people find this and like it, then I might come back. But for the time being, I feel like my time would be much better spent elsewhere, doing other stuff. But never stop fighting. I think I've said that a few times. That's kind of my life motto. In the last episode, not the finale, but the one before it, of Silver Sea Review, I reviewed Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and it's just leaves in the tree. One of the themes in that one was, no matter what, I always get back up, and I love that. That's kind of the exact same thing as saying never stop fighting. And it's not saying like fight people in a mean way. It's saying never stop fighting for what you believe in, for what is right, for what you want, for what will make you happy, stuff like that. So that's the kind of stuff that you should never stop fighting for. Never give up, never surrender. I'm gonna step down here and take a picture of these, which I have a picture of these for my last episode, but not for the finale. Now I have a picture for the finale. I'm no longer going to be posting on any of my 4 locations whenever this goes live. So I don't have a few people that like stuff on Instagram, but I don't think they've ever heard one of my podcasts before. Feel free to contact me if you want. Probably the easiest way would be on YouTube. I have like 5 different email addresses, and I try to, like, it's between Outlook and Yahoo, and I try to keep them all linked to the apps on my phone. So all of the Outlook accounts linked to my Outlook app, so that way I can see when I get emails. But it's not always great, but I'm pretty sure my 2 YouTube accounts are linked. So if you contact me on there, I should be able to get back to you pretty quickly. SoundCloud might be another good one, but on Instagram and Twitter, I have no clue if I'll see those. So if you post something on there, it might be a while before I see it. Some things I want to leave you with. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. And be thankful for what you are now, and keep fighting for what you want to be tomorrow. It's like one of my favorite quotes, right next to never stop fighting. Jokes and quotes. This one's kind of long, so I'm going to have to read it. I'd like to thank my arms for always being by my side, my spine for always having my back, my legs for always supporting me, my heart for keeping me pumped, my fingers because I can always count on them. Something popped up on my phone. My eyes for always seeing me through, my ears for always hearing me out, and my butt for sticking around through the worst crap. I really like this, as this is like my go-to farewell statement, that some poem or something that a person wrote. You can Google it, it's very popular. I wish you enough sun to keep your attitude bright. I wish you enough rain to appreciate the sun more. I wish you enough happiness to keep your spirit alive. I wish you enough pain so the smallest of joys in life appear much bigger. I wish you enough gain to satisfy your wanting. I wish you enough loss to appreciate all that you possess. I wish you enough hellos to get you through the final goodbye. Sorry, I gotta take a breath. My throat's getting dry. Or not take a breath, but oh, hey, look, more berries. I'm gonna take a picture of these berries while I... Wind, you're my biggest enemy. Okay. This is a nice introverted thing that I came upon one time. I like drinking coffee alone and reading alone. I like riding the bus alone and walking home alone. It gives me time to think and set my mind free. I like eating alone and listening to music alone. But when I see a mother with her child, a girl with her lover, or a friend laughing with her best friend, I realize, even though I like being alone, I don't fancy being lonely. And I've talked about it about in the middle of the year. I became extremely lonely. And it's funny because my go-to place was out in nature, not being around anybody whenever I was feeling that way. And that's definitely a very introverted thing to do. But introverts can get lonely, even though they like being alone and they're very secure being alone. It is highly possible for them to get lonely. So always keep that in mind. Even if you are an introvert, if you are feeling lonely, there's nothing wrong with you. That's just human nature. And the final thing I'm going to say, which is good because I'm almost around this lake and I recorded the 2 episodes, well, technically 3 episodes before this. My life can be described in one sentence. It didn't go as planned, and that's okay. So that's going to be it for the Inside the Introvert podcast, series, episodes, everything. Until further notice, there will be no more episodes. So take care of yourself because you're not alone out there.